Hey guys, it's been a while, hasn't it? I mean, how long is it? Yeah, over a year. Oh god, I am so bad at this. I'll make it short. Basically, my life kind of went a bit crap, basically, and I ended up sort of retreating within myself and just needed to figure myself out for quite a while. But I'm not going to go into too much of that today, let's be honest. I don't want to be depressing today because, well, as you can tell by the title, I have some news. I have some actual good news for once. You know, just finally! Good! The reason I've chosen today to make this video is because, well, regarding my transition, I have a pretty big, well, appointment tomorrow. And that appointment is my second opinion at Charing Cross. And I know you're probably thinking, well, what about your first appointment? What about your first opinion? Yeah. I had that during the time I was feeling crap, so I just felt like I could not. I wanted to talk to you guys about it, but I couldn't. I just. Nah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could have waited until tomorrow and then told you about everything, but I felt like, for the sake of just educating everyone and telling you guys like what goes on, I wanted to at least tell you about what happened in my first appointment before my second one, because I know I'm probably going to be delirious by my next appointment. I'm going to be like, woo! So I would have completely forgotten everything about my first appointment. So I was on the system when I got over the age of 18, so they put me on the waiting list for Charing Cross. That took forever. Yeah, it's been a long wait. It's been a long wait. Well over a year before I even heard back from them. It was a faff, I tell you. I had a really big problem with it. Basically, I got a letter saying that I'd been discharged from their system because I hadn't sent them back something. But I'd never got what they were supposed to have sent me, so I called them up and I was like, I never got the paperwork. They were just like, okay, hang on, let's check. And then they sent me it again and I was like, okay, I'm gonna write this, I'm gonna send it off. And then like a month later, or not even that, I got a letter saying, this is when your appointment is. And I was like, like, appointment, like, oh. I didn't think it was actually gonna happen. You know, because, I mean, for those of you who are on the NHS system, you know it takes absolutely ages for anything to happen. So I got to the point where I didn't think it was. But I'm not going to go too much into the waiting because that's the bit we all hate. I'm just going to go straight into the actual day. Now, Charing Cross is in London and I live quite far away from there and I was very anxious about going, but luckily my dad actually said, you know, he would take me there, and I was pretty relieved about that because I don't know London very well. Yes, I was born there, but I was there until I was like 2 years old, so I don't have much memory, whereas my dad goes there every day pretty much to work. So we drove to the nearby train station, which took absolutely ages, and then got on the overground, which by the way I'm fine with. Overground I've travelled on loads. It was the underground I had a bit of a problem with because, you know, it's one of those places. We got on one and it smelled like someone had gone to the bathroom on it. And, I mean, I don't know if that's normal, but I hadn't been on the underground for so long and that was my first impression. Ooh. Anyway, I wasn't really nervous. The whole journey, I was not nervous. I was like, no, keep myself busy, got my phone, you know, got a book to read, listen to my dad drone on about something or other, I don't know. It was only when we got off the underground and we got up and actually we're in London, I was like, holy crap, like, I am this close to my appointment. And that nervousness just got worse the closer I got there. And we finally got to the building and I had to press a little buzzer thing and be like, hello, I'm here for an appointment. I had my letter and I went up and went in there and I gave them my letter and was like, yeah, I've got an appointment. And they were like, okay, that's fine, just take a seat, he'll see you soon. So, and my dad and I sat down and I was just, you know, I was nervous. My nerves had gone through the roof, and I was sort of sitting there like, this is happening, this is happening. And I was looking around, and it was kind of relieved to see there were so many other people who looked like they were in the same position as me. You know, so many other guys who were just sort of sitting there like, this is happening, this is gonna happen. And I mean, the funny thing was I actually saw someone I knew there. So, you know, small world. And finally I got called in, and I obviously I left my dad there, and I was like, okay, here we go. And I got in there, and the guy was really nice. For the love of God, I cannot remember his name. I think my nerves got the better of me, but he was really nice, and basically he sat me down, introduced himself, and then was like, right, okay, before we start, let's just see, what do you want us to help you with? Like, what would you want the service to do for you? And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I definitely want testosterone, top surgery, and in the future I would like bottom surgery. This guy was like, yep, I'm writing it down. I mean, yeah, a lot of you guys are probably saying, well, that's their job, but I've talked to so many medical people who have just been like, oh, okay, and he was the first person to actually take me seriously. Like, he was like, yeah, I'm putting this on your file, we're gonna do this for you, like, when you come in, we're gonna know what you want. And it was like me telling him this was actually gonna make it happen. Like, this is not something that I was used to. I was used to just saying, oh, I wish, you know, not, yes, I want this, get it done. You know, like, it was like, what? And then things just kind of got, well, he'd asked us a few general questions, just asked about, like, when I figured it out and stuff like that, like when I started questioning my gender, how my family was with it, what relationships I had, like, what kind of friendships I had, what if it affected any romantic relationships that I had, what my sexuality was, and the sort of questions like how I felt about certain body parts. That wasn't really that nice, let's be honest. I was nervous to her out, and not just because where I was, but also because right at the beginning he'd told me he needed me to go and get a blood test done at the end of the appointment, and I have a huge fear of needles, so I was sitting there like, ugh. I was more worried about the needles more than anything. In the end, he was like, okay, well, you clearly are very set on what you want, you know who you are, and you know what you want. And from his point of view, he had no problem approving me for testosterone. I could not get that smile off my face the whole way back. Right, before the blood tests and everything like that, the doctor told me I needed to go up to the desk because I needed to get my next appointment booked for me, and I was like, okay, cool, that's awesome. And luckily I'd already heard through the trans grapevine that I was going to have to wait a while. It's not like some of the other systems, if you're under 18, that you get seen regularly, I think by like a psychologist or something like that. I didn't get that. Like, I think they give you like a 6 month like period of time to sort of, I guess it's like they want to just make sure that you're serious about your transition, that this isn't just, you know, a flip-flop situation. So they want to make sure, you know, this is what you want. So then by your next appointment, if you're still the same, they're going to be like, okay, well, obviously you are trans. I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter the fact that, you know, I've known about the fact that I've not been, well, cis for like a long time. You know, no, that doesn't matter. You know, we need to actually have it in a time. You know, that was the only thing that bothered me. But I get it. You know, there have to be a protocol that has to go through. So I got my letter, and they said, yeah, it's going to be in 6 months' time. Just keep hold of the letter and bring it in when you next come in. I'm like, awesome. Then after that, I went down to the main hospital at Charing Cross to get my bloods done. And like I said, I have a huge fear of needles, but I knew that I needed this blood test done. So I had this little form that the doctor had given me, say, you know, what they wanted, and I was like, there was like a long list of things they wanted to test, and I was like, ooh, it's gonna be a lot of blood. But I was still just buzzing from the fact that I actually was halfway there. Like, I'd had, you know, my first appointment, and I was, you know, less than a year away from my next one. I got in, and the nurse was really lovely. If you had a problem with needles or anything like that, you just let the nurse know, because 99.9% of the time, that nurse is going to be like, meh, okay, that's fine, just sit down, relax, and obviously if you're like me and you tell them you've passed out, they will probably lie you down just in case. That lady was awesome. She was really chill. She was like, okay, I'm just gonna prepare everything over here, don't look. Obviously me being me, I looked. I didn't see the needle, because that's the only thing I had a problem with. But I looked over and I saw about 4 or 5 vials, like this big, you know, test tubes, basically. And I was kind of looking at them like, oh god. But then I remembered the doctor had actually said that they don't need, you know, big vials and stuff. They need, like, some of them are going to be big vials, some of them, you know, they just need a little bit of blood. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be fine. I was genuinely surprised how quickly it went. Like, whoosh, gone. After that, something I would always recommend once you've had any amount of blood taken is always go and get something sugary. So I came out and my dad was like, here you go, here's a Pepsi. And then we went down and had something to eat. Then after that, it was just pretty much just home. By the time I got home, I was no longer buzzing. I was no longer like, yeah, I was like, 6 months. But kept myself busy by looking for work and things like that, and preparing for Christmas and all of that. And now it's tomorrow. It feels unreal. Like, tomorrow I'm gonna walk out of that office, like, I'm going to know if I'm going to be allowed testosterone or not. And that's huge for me. I was hoping to, you know, it's like on Christmas Day, it kind of hit me that 2016 could well be the last year that I'm pre-T. And that's a big thing, you know. I know that it's surgeries that do the biggest thing the most quickly, but testosterone is the one thing that can do the most. You know, I'm no longer I'm going to actually finally look my age, and my voice is going to sound a lot deeper, my body mass is going to change. I'm not going to have the problem that I've had for quite a while about being seen as, you know, a 14-year-old. Whereas I'm 21, you know, it's not great. It's just, like, this is going to happen, you know. I've been watching so many other YouTubers going through hormones and everything like that and being like, that's never going to happen, that's never going to happen to me. And tomorrow I will know if it's going to happen to me or not. It's just, like, woo! I will be making another video soon on my experience, what's going to happen tomorrow. I want to get a good video schedule set in eventually, but I think at the moment I would say probably going to be every fortnight or so. Not sure what day, but hopefully eventually I can get back into the schedule of things, because I have lots of ideas that I want to put out, and I am very excited to be back on YouTube again and sharing my transition story with you guys. And I hope you will all stick around for my next video, which will be in a couple of days, where I'll be talking about my experience with my second opinion at Charing Cross. So yeah, that video I can promise you is going to be here in a couple of days, so don't worry about that. Hopefully you guys stuck around, even though it took me a flipping year or so to get here. And I look forward to, well, hearing from you guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.